seems like every year we begin the State of the University address with comments about the fiscal realities. And I know that every family across America, around the world, our communities, our state government, our national leaders are all concerned about their own fiscal realities. Michigan State is in a position where we must not only deal with fiscal realities, but we must plan not simply for today, but for tomorrow. And that's what we've been doing under the guise of shaping the future. Now, people have sort of seen that a bit as a budget cutting exercise, but it's really much, much more in the kind of repositioning of the university for the 21st century around our core values. When I think about our budget realities, we know that the economy of Michigan, the economy of the country is not growing as rapidly as we would like. So we see a long-term period where growth in our budgets, particularly from our state sources, are simply not going to be a reality. We know that Governor Snyder and his team are facing very, very difficult decisions. We also know that the structural deficit for Michigan is real. But we remain very optimistic that higher education and research universities in particular are going to be on the top of his agenda as a way of assuring a positive and dynamic future for Michigan. We know that the state of Michigan has received money that is really one-time money under ARA and the federal stimulus package. Michigan State University has not put any recurring commitments on that non-recurring money. We've used it for financial aid, we've used it for purposes that are one-time so that our budget is sound and structurally balanced. I was part of a generation, as many of you were, where there was an enormous commitment to education and state support for education for public institutions. If you think about the state support in Michigan, it's declined dramatically over a 10-year period in increases to public higher education. From 1960 to 2000, we declined as a proportion of our revenue by about 25%. But from 2000 to now, this last 10-year period, we've declined by another 23% as a portion of our revenue in state appropriation. So to put that in context, it's 40 years to decline 25%. And 10 years to decline 23%. That's another stark realization of the way in which Michigan has disinvested in public higher education. You add to that the state of Michigan this year, for the first time, does not have an aggressive financial aid program at the state for public university students. It means that the pressure on the university is greater, not only to find efficiencies, but to build quality, so that we're the institution that's leading the world in our kinds of values, our kinds of programs for the 21st century. We've had terrific support from our faculty and staff in looking at healthcare and reducing healthcare costs. We've also had terrific support of our faculty and staff in taking a 0% salary increase for 1 year, recognizing that by every one of us contributing in that way, we could keep jobs and ensure the quality of education for Michigan State University. Beyond that, there have just been a myriad of changes as Provost Wilcox has looked with the deans at academic programs, and as Vice President Post and his team have looked at every aspect of our operations. We pride ourselves on having transparency in data. You can go to our website and look at all the information about our costs and relative costs compared to our peer institutions. We want to be the lowest in operation cost and the highest in quality. We're a $1.8 billion budget. About $500 million of that comes from sponsored programs. That is critical to our success, and growing those dollars is also critical for the economic success of Michigan, because they create jobs, and they also have a number of spin-off opportunities that are critical to this culture of innovation and entrepreneurship that has to occur in Michigan for its future. We're really pleased that over the last decade, we've more than doubled the amount of sponsored program dollars coming to Michigan State University. Last year alone, the funding for research within our sponsored dollars increased by 19%. And federally funded research was up by almost 24%. We believe strongly that the work that's been done across the campus under shaping the future will permit us to continue to grow quality under these difficult economic circumstances. We also know that in the work we're doing, particularly some of the programmatic and curricular changes that are underway, that we're increasing the value of an MSU diploma. There are 80% Michigan kids as an undergraduate. We know that the students and their families are under enormous financial pressure. So we've raised financial aid significantly in this period of time to try to assure access. And we need to continue to do that because we have to be able to meet our land-grant responsibility, that students from across socioeconomic class are able to come to Michigan State University and have this be the avenue to a successful life. A successful life as that citizen scholar now in a global world that John Hanna always talked about. So financial aid has been increased. And folks across the campus, students, faculty, staff, have used their ingenuity, their creative talents to think about ways that we can innovate processes, procedures, activities in order that we can get greater value at a lower cost. And there are many, many examples that we can point to across the university. When visitors come to campus, they've seen the campus over this last year and said, gee, does that look really great? But nobody says that people are doing that with 10 to 15% less money. But it's the capacity of our people to get beyond, gee whiz, this is awful, to gee whiz, we're not going to let these awful circumstances define who we are or our aspirations. That really is the heart of the way we've planned the budget at Michigan State.